Hi everyone, welcome back to SportsKhabri and Curious Harry. Arnav is going to be here in a bit. But Arian, crazy stuff happening at the SAFF Under-19s. Can you tell us what is going on? The Indian team is not on the field, of course, and in the midst of a penalty shootout. Not in the midst of it, but after, so to say that the match was wrongly sort of decided. The Indians left the field, but now are not coming back on. Tedji, can you just tell us what is happening so that everybody knows?
The actual situation was कि स्कोर लाइन 90th मिनट के बाद 1-1 हुआ, देन पेनल्टी शूट आउट हुआ एंड 11 पेनल्टीज दोनों की ओर से ली गई, लेकिन फिर भी यहाँ पे नतीजा नहीं निकला। तो उसके बाद यहाँ पे जनरली जो रूल होता है उसमें ऐसा होता है कि आप रीटेकन पेनल्टी स्टार्ट करते हो, बट यहाँ पे मैच ऑफिशियल फोर्थ मैच ऑफिशियल ने इंटरवीन करके बोला कि यहाँ पे कोइन क्या बोलते हैं, कोइन टॉस किया जाएगा एंड उसका जो विनर होगा उसको विनर दे दिया जाएगा। फिर दोनों ही टीम के बीच में कोइन उछला एंड उसमें इंडिया जीत गया और सेलिब्रेशन करने लगा। लेकिन बांग्लादेश की ओर से प्रोटेस्ट आया कि ये ऐसा रूल नहीं होना चाहिए और उन्होंने इसलिए यहाँ पे अभी तक फील्ड नहीं छोड़ा है। तो लेटेस्ट अपडेट ये आ रही है कि यहाँ पे मैच ऑफिशियल की ओर से गलती हुई है, वॉट एवर द थिंग्स इन मीडिया आ रही है, अभी तक ऑफिशियल अनाउंसमेंट कुछ नहीं हुआ और उसमें ये बताया जा रहा है कि फिर से शायद पेनल्टी शूट आउट हो सकता है एंड अगर इंडिया यहाँ पे अभी वापस नहीं आती 30th मिनट में, देन यहाँ पे बांग्लादेश को वॉक ओवर दिया जाएगा, ऐसी न्यूज अभी आ रही है। बट लेट्स वेट एंड वॉच। आई थिंक अभी तक कुछ यहाँ पे क्लियरिटी मिली नहीं है बिकॉज नाउ इंडिया इज रिफ्यूजिंग टू कम ऑन टू द फील्ड एंड बांग्लादेश प्लेयर्स डिडंट यू कैन से वॉक ऑफ फ्रॉम द फील्ड राइट नाउ आफ्टर द मैच एंडेड वाज आई थिंक अराउंड 8 p.m. so it's almost a 1.5 hour and they still didn't left the field. So absolutely ruckus and I don't know anyone knows the rules or whatever the things is happening because still there is a no you can say judgment on the winners. So let's see.
Nava, I've got a question straight away for you, Nava. I think something that was going on in my head when I was sort of reading what is happening. Once an official has taken a call, can he sort of redo the decision? He can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you follow the case in Belgium a few days ago, where a wrong VR decision has been turned around and the match has to be replayed. So
Okay.
so if the referees take a wrong call on a matter, and it can change the outcome of a match, which in this case 100% it is. You need to sort of decide what you're going to do. Now the point is, it's a very tricky scenario now because India has celebrated the win. The AFF has announced themselves as champions. I mean, people are making fun of it, winning a coin toss, and all that has happened in and around the stadium. And the question now is, how can you sort it out in the best possible way? And to me, there's only one option to appoint both the teams as champions. Because if you replay, again, you allow the penalty shootout to continue, Bangladesh win, India will cry. Bangladesh loses a second time, Bangladesh will continue to cry about this. So the point is, what are your options now? Because if you're going to say you have to have a rematch, you can't do that tomorrow. You'll most will have to give it a day or two. I don't know how the scheduling is, right? And there is so many things which are in this flux at the moment that I can't tell you what to do, because this is something where I don't know who took the final call. Was it the fourth official? Was it the match commissioner? But someone seems to have read the rules and regulations of the match wrong.
सर अभी जो लेटेस्ट अपडेट सर निकल के आ रहा है वो ये निकल के आ रहा है कि मैच कमिश्नर ने बोला कि री पेनल्टी टेकन होगा और इंडिया अगर यहाँ पे 30 मिनट में वापस नहीं आता देन बांग्लादेश को वॉक ओवर दिया जाएगा।
Yeah, I have another question on that. If the match officials do decide that their decision was wrong, and now they're calling the Indian team back, and the Indian team, why? I mean, shouldn't you go back? I mean, you're in risk of losing the game, right? I mean, as the Indian team, I understand that they've celebrated the win and all of that, but if the referees are in the as part of laws of football allowed to sort of change their decision and admit that they were wrong, and they call you back, then you have to go back, right? You have to take those penalties again.
I was telling a little earlier, Akshata and Hiren, I had that thing with the penalty shootout little over 2 years back in the AFC Under-23 qualifiers, India versus Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyz Republic, sorry to be correct, as it's now called. And the match ended goalless, group stage match. But for classification, because both the teams had the same number of points and the same number of goals, the match commissioner actually was sitting behind us, and I was on the verge of going in. Other people come, hey, come back. The match isn't over yet. I said, why? It ended 0-0. What's going to happen now? He said, no, match commissioner is running down. So the match commissioner literally ran down the stairs, informed the match official, and that you need to have a penalty between these two nations to decide who finishes second in the group. India was already in the dressing room. I think a couple of players were already on the massage table. Some were on the way to the shower, and they were asked to return onto the field. So in that way, the referee have the right to do that.
Yeah.
Then it would only I don't understand, sir. Where did this fourth official or whoever takes this or read this rule about this coin? I mean, on-field referees, I don't think so. They know this rule because they are continue going, and I think Bangladeshi player comes for their 12th penalty also. But either it's a match official or a fourth match commissioner intervene and told them that the coin will be now tossed. I think so. Miscommunication happened there.
See, I don't know who was the person who said it. Someone has to have said it. Otherwise, we would not be in this situation. And whoever has said it again, made a wrong call. My question is, what is in the rule book? I don't have the rule book for the SAFF Championship, specifically for the SAFF Under-19 Women's Championship. So, so I'm still waiting to see what happens, because this is something, where at the end of the day, if one of whoever now loses if they have to come back and anyone loses the additional shootout, there will be bad taste about this. That's what I'm saying. It's therefore the easiest way to joint avoid winner. and the joint winner, and because the situation is bad anyway. I mean, someone is screwed up here, massively screwed up, right? You can I think the only way to salvage the situation is actually saying, you know what, joint winners, bas khatam karo ye.
But I don't know, I mean,
SAFF, sorry to interrupt, Rahul, in the SAFF की rule book है कि नहीं वो भी पता नहीं है ना हमको.
I've not been able. I've been trying to find it online if there exists something of a SAFF sort of tournament.
Online तो नहीं मिलेगा सर.
I have not found anything. Again, other tournaments you have access to that. At least in the media libraries, you have access to that at UEFA and AFC. So so the question to me is very simple: is what is the way out? And it's not the way out by following the rules on one side, but also following the rules of fair play in football, which I think is now the bigger topic in this whole discussion. So therefore, it's a very weird scenario at the moment over there. Again, and Bangladesh has stayed out. I mean, we were talking nearly an hour ago, Hiren, and they're still out there on the field, sitting out there. Again, it's hot in Dhaka. It's you wouldn't do that in Europe in the winter, but still, it's bizarre to say the least of what's happening at the moment. I mean, we can talk about everything. But this is something I've seen a lot in football, but this is something new that I'm seeing today.
Ashu is asking, why did they shoot out? Let me again, just to get things right, guys. They assumed that 11 takes would be it, and then if it was tied that you would go to a coin toss. Of course, it was wrongly decided, but that's again, just correct me if I'm wrong. That was the case, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So that's what it was. It's quite crazy because so my question is again, if I'm Bangladesh, actually if I'm a neutral, I'm looking at trying to look at this as a look at this entire situation as a neutral. From Bangladesh, and according to the rules, you need to continue the penalty shootout, which I think most places do, right? Have you guys come
Hmm.
across situations where we've seen a coin toss in the recent past at least, where it's gone to 11th penalty
Not
shootout?
not recent past, but this used to be a ruling in Indian football in the
Yeah.
past.
Okay. Okay.
So therefore, and Harsha is asking why not 120 minutes? Because these girls have been playing every 2 days, right?
Hmm.
This is the fourth match in 7 days. You cannot ask them to play another 30 minutes. One
Hmm.
has to be one that has to be understood. So again, and this is there are so many things that I've seen around this game which are questionable. Yeah, which does not make anything better, and that's the scary part about this whole thing, right? That someone has made a call and has taken a massively wrong call on this.
Yeah. I mean, no fault of the players, of course. It's just what can you do? Both sides. If I'm sure if Bangladesh won it on the contest, even they would have celebrated, and I don't know if they would have come back on the field or not. But
बट
it's
सर,
but, yeah.
नहीं, यहाँ पे अगर अगर आप फाइनल सॉल्यूशन में जैसा आपने बोला ज्वाइंट विनर वुड बी द मेक लॉट मोर सेंस, बट एक आपका अगर रूल बुक है तो आप चाहे वो इंडियन यू कैन से कि मैच मैनेजर हो या फिर आपका बांग्लादेश का मैनेजर हो, उसके साथ बात करके आप ये तो बता सकते हो कि दिस इज द रूल बुक, अभी के हिसाब से ये रूल है, तो दैट्स व्हाई दिस विनर हैव बीन गिवन। वो भी ये कन्विंस, आई थिंक अभी तक वो लोग फील्ड नहीं छोड़े हैं और जो न्यूज निकल के सारी आ रही है, दैट मीन्स आपके पास वो, मेरे को ये लगता है कि इनके पास वो क्लियर, इन लोगों के पास वो रूल बुक नहीं है, अदरवाइज तो आप बता सकते थे ना कि दिस आर द रूल बुक। अब आपने इसको नहीं देखा और वो सारी चीजें वो कहीं ना कहीं वो फॉल्ट है, बट आपके पास अगर आई थिंक मेरे को ये लग रहा है कि शायद ये साफ वालों के पास ही रूल बुक नहीं है, कि नहीं तो ये एक को तो आप एक पार्टी को तो आप कन्विंस कर सकते थे ना कि दिस आर द रूल बुक। अब आगे से चेंज करना है वो अलग बात है, बट अभी ये रूल है कि कोइन के हिसाब से करना है।
Again, it's normally whoever took that call will have taken that call with his best knowledge and understanding of the rules and regulations of the tournament, of the competition. Now the question is, was it in the rule book? Now they're saying it wasn't. I again, and I have not seen it. So the question is, which rule book? What rule book is it? Again, this is now the problem of the discussion. I don't know if Bangladesh, if the team tomorrow morning are still going to be sitting there, and this live stream is still going on in the parallel. It's because at some stage, also the Bangladesh coach now needs to say, you know what? Again, yes, we are protesting this, but just go to the dressing room, just freshen up a little. I think even in Dhaka, it's still beginning of Feb. The weather is not
एक
ideal
को
for
भेज
that. They'll
सकते हैं
catch
ना
a
वो तो,
cold and all that stuff.
एक प्लेयर को वहां पे सेंड कर सकते हैं ना, और गद्दे बड्डे स्टेडियम में बिछा देंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। वहीं पे पूरा ये धरना वाला सिस्टम हो गया है।
I think the funny thing is, of course, like I don't know, like you said, I think this coin toss thing, it wouldn't have come out of nowhere. I feel like there's a possibility that they could have changed the rules for this edition, and the rules for the previous edition were slightly different. Maybe it was a coin toss then, and now it's like let the penalty shootout continue, and somebody who has probably not read the revised rules has gone ahead and said, you know what, coin toss.
Yeah.
I guess I don't
ये
know. I'm just,
that exactly was
like it just came out of nowhere. While watching the live
नहीं
match,
नहीं that that was exactly happen in the एशियन गेम्स, जो मैंने सबको भी बताया था, कबड्डी का जो ईरान वर्सेस इंडिया का फाइनल हुआ था, उसमें भी सेम इश्यू था कि पुराने जो रूल बुक था उसमें कोई दूसरा रूल था और नए रूल बुक में कोई दूसरा रूल बुक था, तो उसके चलते जो मैच ऑफिशियल थे उन्होंने कंफ्यूजन बना दिया था, और उसके चलते इंडिया वर्सेस ईरान का भी सेम सिचुएशन हुआ था कि वहां पे भी फाइनल में जो लास्ट कॉल था वहां पे इवेंचुअली दैट गोट इनटू द इंडियाज फेवर, बट वहां पे भी काफी लंबी टाइम तक, आधे घंटे 1 घंटे तक आई थिंक वहां पे भी वो डिस्कशन, और ईरानियन प्लेयर डिडंट वांट टू लीव द फील्ड और सब सिचुएशन हुआ था। वहां पे भी सेम जो राहुल ने बोला कि लास्ट एडिशन में कोई और रूल था और नए एडिशन में कोई और रूल था, तो मैच ऑफिशियल उसी में कंफ्यूज हो गया कि कौन सा रूल अभी इसमें वो है.
But I think I remember what Hiren was talking about. That was absolutely ridiculous. They took so long to decide
So long,
what
हाँ.
the rule was. Yeah, crazy.
That was also वो तो इससे भी क्रेजियर था जिस तरह से
It
कोचेस और
was
वो
very
प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे थे.
yeah.
I have a question from a media house perspective, Arnava, because we did wait for the Indian football official Instagram handle or Twitter handle to announce the result. The in fact the live stream also announced the result. But now in a situation such as this, that now we are getting to know that, I mean, what is the official protocol that a media should be following before announcing who has won or who has not?
Normally, what the AFF has done is right, because you were officially declared winner of the tournament. So that in that way the AFF is right. Now that this situation has arisen, and I think also if I was watching the Instagram post of the AFF, and the comments are not the best, it might be smarter to actually remove all of it, right? Because there is utter confusion, and I think the AFF, if they're smart, they would put out a statement saying, you know what, there are a lot of contradicting reports on what's happening, what's not happening. Therefore, until the tournament organizers decides on what is the next step, we will have to await the decision. The point to me is that most probably there are high-level talks going on between officials from SAFF, BFF, AFF to find a way out. And to me, again, if I was AFF, I suggest joint champions. SAFF has to take the fall for this. They'll have to take, they did the mistake and get out of it. Because this is embarrassing that a football team which has not been playing for more than an hour and a half nearly by now is still sitting outside over there and waiting for a decision. This is not some local para competition where, even there it would be an embarrassing. This is a national team, right? And this is something, but this just adds up, this just shows you how football in this part of, in South Asia at the moment, we were supposed to talk about AFF and solutions. And again, you never get to the solution part because a new problem every day crops up.
Thank you very much for super chat. भाई नाम आपका चाइनीज में कौन सी लैंग्वेज में लिखा है? I don't know.
I'm not able to see the text in the super chat, but thank you.
Yeah,
only.
Yeah. Technically, we should all be dividing the money here.
Yeah, surely.
But yeah, it's crazy because I always I'm just thinking about how college worked, and it was quite organized, to be fair. I mean, we used to get our rule books, everything was out.
राहुल ये आप जब गली यहाँ पे अगर आप देखिए गली में भी जब क्रिकेट या फिर कोई भी टूर्नामेंट खेला जाता है ना, तब हम रूल डिस्कस करते हैं मैच से पहले कि इधर बॉल जाएगा तो इस तरह से होगा, इधर जाएगा तो इस तरह से होगा, ये आउट दिया जाएगा, ये आउट नहीं दिया जाएगा. और ये दिस शोज कि हाउ द, जैसे सर ने बोला कि साउथ एशियन फुटबॉल कितना सीरियस है फुटबॉल की रिगार्डिंग. दिस इज अ परफेक्ट एग्जांपल कि आपकी जो रीजनल बॉडी है वो कितनी सीरियस है और आपकी जो कंट्रीज की जो फुटबॉल फेडरेशन वो कितने सीरियस है रिगार्डिंग द फुटबॉल. दिस इज द परफेक्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ इट. क्योंकि दिस इज नॉट यू कैन, फिर भी मैं चलो कि अंडर 17 और अंडर 15 लेवल का भी कोई ऐसा टूर्नामेंट होता तो फिर भी थोड़ा सा मैं बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट दे देता, बट दिस इज अंडर 19 लेवल, तो ऑलमोस्ट आपका जो सीनियर लेवल से एक लेवल ही नीचे है. दिस इज जैसे सर ने बोला, इट्स इंटरनेशनल टीम्स, सो इट्स नॉट अ जोक, and more than 1 lakh people are watching during the match and all of that thing. So what are you मतलब जो आप इससे क्या दिखाना चाहते हो? इट्स कंप्लीटली आपने मेस करके रखा है सिचुएशन का. एंड आप देखिए, मैं ऐसा नहीं बोला गलती नहीं होती है, बड़े फेडरेशन पे बड़े मैचेस में भी हमने देखा है कि मिस्टेक्स हैपन, बट उसका कितना जल्दी सॉल्यूशन एंड कितना सारी चीजें आती है, दैट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट. 2 hours, I think almost 2 hours has been passed out and still you are not on a conclusion कि क्या आगे होना है.
So now we are waiting for them to sort it amongst themselves. So we are waiting for our girls to appear on the field.
So Gurinder Singh is saying something regarding Maldives and a coin toss in 2018 at the SAFF. It happened at the group stage. So it was that Bangladesh and Maldives had both lost to India and then drawn their match, which meant that they had everything same: points, goal difference, goals for, goals against. And that there a coin toss is actually is always there as an option. It is in every competition theoretically. So it would be there in a FIFA World Cup and an AFC Asian Cup, at the Euros, at the SAFF, every competition. I am not aware. I mean, this rule used to exist in football in the past because they did not want to end non-stop matches. This is like the introduction in tennis of the tie break. Because in Grand Slams, you used to have matches going on, I don't know, 26-24 or something going on in the fifth set or third set in the women's game, right? So these are the things that you wanted to change. I was not aware. And it seems to me very, very clearly that both the teams, again, the Indian goalkeeper went to try and block the goal. And the Bangladeshi player went there to take the 12th penalty. So to me, this is a huge confusion. The other problem in this situation at the moment is that most probably the key stakeholders who have to take a final call on this, no one was on the ground at the stadium.
I don't know. They have watched the match.
Maybe the SAFF president, Mr. Salahuddin, was there. Maybe. But certainly the key official, maybe even BFF, someone was there. But AF, again, who is the AFF? That's the first question. But again, that was supposed to be the topic of the day. But at the moment, the situation is as it is, and we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yep. So I don't even know what to say, but yeah. Akshata, what are you making of the situation?
I know the stream is on my phone. I'm still just trying to understand really what is happening. It's just, I don't know. It's just so. And either of the, as I already mentioned, the fair decision right now is for them to just declare both the countries as winners, because there does not appear right now any way where this can feel fine in any way. Bangladeshi players, they've been sitting on the field. Our girls are in the locker room. There's a lot of mental stress also now, and all will be decided on a penalty shootout. That just doesn't feel fair in any possible way.
Yep. I mean, this is.
The longer you take in deciding something, the worse it feels. So the longer they're taking, it's just making it feel worse.
एग्जैक्टली मेरा पॉइंट वही है कि अगर आपको रिटेकन भी करना है तो अभी तक डिसीजन भी हो जाना चाहिए.
No, but the point is you can take a decision of retaken. If India now say we will not come out, and you say, okay, again, it was originally said that maybe you'll give them half an hour or an hour time to come back onto the field. If you then suddenly say, listen, we will hand the trophy to Bangladesh because India didn't to do something, then you have another situation, because then the situation is the other way around. So you have to find this, and therefore for me there is only one solution: make both the teams champion. But simple, khatam, get it over and done with.
No other way.
What do you say about this Secker comment? FIFA or AFC should ban SAFF.
No, but there's someone made a mistake, no?
Yeah.
This is not a banning issue.
Yeah.
That's why should SAFF be banned? Well, what SAFF ban means what? All teams get also banned. Bas, then we have achieved what we wanted. No? Football is closed in India. Ego Steamers will say mission accomplished. Or sorry, Kalyan, whoever, someone will say that. No? Sorry guys, again, these suggestions are useless. Seriously, be a little mature in your thinking. And again, there is a human error which has happened. Shouldn't happen, should never happen. But this has happened again and will happen again. As I said, I've seen it myself at AFC level, even at FIFA level, it has happened. With VR, matches are being replayed. Look at the mess that Real Madrid Granada match. Akshata's favorite coach is a huge fan of VR in England. So
And then we bring back this match again when that happens in India again.
So
SAFF
therefore,
under 19.
again, it's a problem which should not have arisen. I think if it's the match commissioner who said it, maybe that was his last match for a certain period of time, maybe forever. Yeah. So therefore,
Guys,
that's it.
I have a question again. Like, I understand what Arnava, you and Akshata are saying regarding it should probably be shared. But again, if it is in the rule that you have to sort of continue the shootout, I know I can understand from the player's perspective, it's really disheartening for a team to celebrate and come back onto the pitch and retake penalties and potentially lose. But that's the right thing to do. And if I was a player, to be honest, like at the end of the day, you won on a coin toss, which, let's face it, is not the ideal way to win a game. So if they are giving me an opportunity, I still don't understand why the players would not be willing to go back onto the field. I mean, I understand these are girls.
It's not the decision, Rahul.
Yeah.
Rahul. The decision will not be made by the players. Again, this is an under
exactly.
90 team.
I get
The
that.
coach, maybe the manager, maybe even the AFF president now is involved in that decision.
Yeah.
If the players could go out and say, listen, you know what? Let's go out and finish this off on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Again, that's my question. So, of course, not the players, but the management, the coach. Shouldn't they say, you know what? Let's just get the job done, and if that is what the case is, let's go and let's take those penalties and let's win the game. Yeah, and I don't know. I just feel like if I was in charge of that team, I would be like, guys, let's go, let's finish the game. We win, we lose. That's how it is.
एंटरटेनमेंट भाई जो एएफएफ नीड टू लीव साहब इसके रिगार्डिंग मैंने एक वीडियो रिसेंटली बनाया है 1 मिनट का ही है आप देख लो कि साहब हम लीव कर सकते हैं कि नहीं कर सकते उसके बाद भाई वो आना द रेफरी और द मैच कमिश्नर कैन ये आधे घंटे वाला रूल का भी सर टाइम तो निकल गया आधा घंटा तो हो गया उसको भी more than half an hour pass out
and yeah, again, but the point is that you are the question is what kind of conversations are happening there are conversations happening 100%. And the point here is they are trying to find the best possible solution, and there is no best possible solution to this. Let's be honest. There is no best. The best possible solution is joint champion. Khatam, finished, done. But there are, of course, then nationalistic things are happening. Bangladesh wants to keep it. India wants to keep it. There's that. Do we share? No, we don't want to share. And again, and logic sometimes also doesn't work in these cases, right? And this is something which are which is going to be very tough, because SAFF has a lot of tournaments that they want to play. The club championship this year was supposed to be coming in. Now, if India isn't in any way miffed, India might say, you know what, we will not play. Do your stuff by yourself.
Guys, what do you guys think about the concept of trophy sharing? Like, it's just in sport in general. What do you think about trophy sharing in general? Do you think trophies should be shared?
I believe they should be. There's certain situations where you actually feel for some players, especially in tennis. I've followed tennis for a long time. There have been certain matches where I've just felt that they should have been a joint winner because.
Okay.
Yeah, but I tell you a match
from an emotional perspective and not less from a logical perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a great cup game in Germany 2 nights ago by Leverkusen against Stuttgart, two of the best teams in the league, and Leverkusen scored in the 90th minute with a header, it was 2-2 and they won 3-2 in one of the best games of football I've seen in quite a while. And that match didn't deserve a winner, but we had this situation. I forgot the name of the two guys. The two high jumpers at the last Olympics, they were jumping one after another, and then they were missing at the same time. And then, they were given the option, do you want to share gold? And both said, you know what, before we continue this, let's share gold. So high jump, yeah. So for me, this is something which I feel very important is that sportsmanship needs to win at the end, and not upmanship and all those kind of other things. And in this situation, the only wise decision is to say, listen, guys, sorry, shouldn't have
Rahul,
happened.
The perfect example is 2019 Cricket World Cup final. According to you, fair result would be a joint win. What do you say?
Final.
2019 New Zealand versus England.
Ben Stokes. I think that was in the laws of the
they
game.
Decided they decided on the boundaries.
Boundary count. Yeah. But again, I think that was in the law of the game. I would have preferred another super over. But yeah.
वो तो रूल चेंज की बात है ना, वो तो obviously उसके बाद चेंज हो गया रूल. But I think the fair result would have been a joint winner because Ben Stokes also hit on their bat and got that in super over that run.
I remember. I think in general, I know sometimes it feels unfair for one person to win the entire thing. Like for example, like Hiren mentioned, it was really hard for New Zealand not to win that game. But just I don't know. For me, trophy sharing is something that really doesn't sit right. I think at the end of the day, there needs to be a winner. I know, even I'm also coming from an emotional angle. I feel like on the day you've put in so much that I think it deserves a winner. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
इनको ये बांग्लादेश वाले लोग खाने का इंतजाम क्यों नहीं कर रहे सर?
But apparently the commentary is taken by BFF and AIFF president agreement, so they are waiting for that.
कमेंट्री कहाँ चल ही नहीं रही है, कहाँ कमेंटेटर आ जाएंगे?
नहीं, it's on mute from.
कुछ नहीं आ रहा, आवाज ही नहीं आ रहा, ये 1.5 घंटे से साइलेंट ही है.
नहीं,
वो भी खाने चले गए.
नहीं, he has said ना,
बीच में बोला था ना.
He has spoken 3 or 4, I think 3 times. I think I have listened 3 times. I've heard something him say in the past.
अच्छा, मेरे में तो कब से वो साइलेंट ही है, बोल ही नहीं रहे.
So the screen was just like that, but they did mention it that मतलब वो जो 30 मिनट वाला टाइम था, वो भी वो कमेंटेटर ने ही आके बोला था ना, जब अर्णवा also mentioned us, informed us.
वो आधे घंटे से 1 घंटा हो गया.
Because the high-ups are discussing what to do with this situation. This is not something
normal.
This is a extraordinary situation,
so it required
So while we again, there seems to be no solution at this moment on this. Maybe we want to go back to the original topic of our discussion today, which is also very interesting. When we try to bring up a topic, we've spoken a lot in the last few weeks on the problems, issues, challenges in Indian football, and a lot of negativity is around Indian football at the moment. To me, that's why I suggested the topic. When we look at what could be solutions to the way forward of where Indian football stands, because if we only look back and say the question remains is what is needed, what are potential solutions for Indian football to come out of this very, very tricky scenario. I call it a tricky scenario. I highlighted it a few days ago with a tweet and then with a small article as well on Iron Foot, is that the 5 points which I see are the most important. And I think we need to get into that discussion, is how can changes be made? What are the changes that need to be made for Indian football to move forward? Because otherwise, it's going nowhere.
Somebody spamming, please आप एक comment लिख रहे हैं, we can read that comment. आपको बार-बार वही comment लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो बाकी लोग भी जो chat में कुछ लिख रहे होते हैं तो वो भी disturb feel करते हैं, तो please आप ऐसा मत करिए. Hiren, you want to say something?
I think सर ने बिल्कुल सही बोला है कि the situation currently, मतलब if you see the outside, there is a मतलब आपको ज्यादा नहीं लगेगा कि कुछ इतना वो हो रहा है, लेकिन inside there is a lot of thing happening in AFF which doesn't look good, to be honest. and that should be looked into seriously and to find a solution. And if we not become serious and not accept, if particularly AFF not accept their mistake, and मैं ये नहीं बोला कि गलती नहीं होती, बट अगर आपको पहले गलती को एक्सेप्ट भी करना पड़ेगा कि वी वर बैड एट द एफसी एशियन कप, एंड देयर मस्ट बी चेंजेस जो आपको आगे आने वाले टाइम में लाने पड़ेंगे. अगर वो नहीं लाएंगे, देन आई थिंक द सेम स्टोरी विल रिपीट इन द 2027 और आफ्टर दैट आल्सो. So you need to be plan for the, you can say कि upcoming tournament with that in mind कि जो हमने इस बार गलतियां की है. I think if you see, I think आपका एक तो परफेक्ट एग्जांपल है जॉर्डन कतार कि जिन्होंने दोनों ने अपने कोच, जॉर्डन ने 6 महीने पहले चेंज किया था, कतार ने यहाँ पे आपका क्या बोलते जस्ट बिफोर द टूर्नामेंट किया था. तो अभी जैसे ये आफ्टर दिस एफसीएशन का फेलियर फैंस की ओर से एंड एएफएफ में भी ये निकल के आया था कि उनके ऑफिशियल भी ऐसा मानते हैं कि जस्ट बिफोर दी वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स राउंड 2 के जो मैचेस है उससे पहले कोच को सेट करना सही नहीं है. दूसरा यहाँ पे रिगार्डिंग द आपका प्लानिंग है, जिस तरह से आप देखिए बाकी कंट्रीज ने एशियन कप से पहले प्रैक्टिस मैचेस का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन किया था, कैंप थोड़ा सा एक आध वीक किसी ने ज्यादा था, कैंप की साइड में रखते हैं, लेकिन प्रैक्टिस मैचेस उन्होंने खिलवाए थे, जबकि आपने एक भी प्रैक्टिस मैचेस नहीं खिलवाए थे. अदर थिंग्स रिगार्डिंग द यूथ लेवल, जैसे सर ने बोली कि वहां पे जो चेंजेस होने थे, तो ये सारी चीजें आपको अभी से यहाँ पे देखनी पड़ेगी कि किस तरह से इसको बेटर किया जाए. एंड वो अगर आप सॉल्यूशन अभी से करेंगे तब जाके आपको कुछ रिजल्ट मिलेगा. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपने चेंजेस एकदम से कर दिए और तुरंत आपको रिजल्ट मिलने वाले हैं. जितना लेट करोगे उतना ही लेट आपको रिजल्ट भी मिलने वाला है. सो आई थिंक AFF needs to focus on that thing rather than you can say कि saving their face and thinking that what will fans think if we accept our mistake or whatever the things. I think they need to do what for Indian football is right. No, not thinking about the fans or coach or anyone else. They need to think what should be done to get the Indian football on track and to get a better result in upcoming events.
Yep.
There's some issue at Rahul's end. What do you guys also think about the flow of communication? Because I just feel that of late things are just getting worse because of communication issues. If your national team coach comes up and says कि आपके clubs इतना बुरा perform करते हैं, वो वही कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं AFC Championships वगैरह में, so the club owners, the club coaches will of course not be happy about it, and they will not be celebrating it, and they will not think highly of the national team coach. We always say that, you know, like when we ask people, they say that they are communicating amongst themselves. They know what is happening in other clubs, etc. But I don't. Realistically, we as fans have also observed that there's a lack of conversation. Everybody needs to sit together and decide a proper.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, Akshata. There was a ceremony is going on now. The preparation is started. So I think the match has been decided and India has been given. I think Bangladeshi players have also left the field now. So I think final result has been made. Decision made.
Something is happening, certainly. Something is certainly. I mean, they're trying to prepare the stage. Bangladesh has just walked off. The photographers are there.
So that means winner's decision has been made. Now let's see if it's in India's favor or Bangladesh. If they give a walkover or the first decision has to be, you can say, upheld.
Very very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not reading anything anywhere.
ये ऐसा मैं फुटबॉल में पहली बार देख रहा हूँ कि जो आपका सेरेमनी है वो डिसाइड कर रहा है कि कौन विनर बनेगा. सेरेमनी डिसाइड कर रहा है कौन विनर है. दिस इज द फर्स्ट ऑफ अ काइंड इन फुटबॉल हिस्ट्री कि अभी तक लोगों को पता नहीं कि कौन विनर है. सेरेमनी डिसाइड करेगा कि जो गोल्ड मेडल लेने आएगा वो विनर है. तो मैच डिसाइडेड बाय सेरेमनी, नॉट बाय कोइन.
This is as crazy as it can get. I mean, this is sorry.
This is the highest level of craziness.
Yeah, but coming back to the conversation that we're having.
अच्छा 5-5 बोल रहे कि Bangladesh has been awarded the win.
Let's wait and see what happens. Because again, if Bangladesh is given the title, I think India will contest it. So therefore, let's see what happens, and vice versa as well.
Time to place bets also.
So to me, I think the most important thing, actually, you mentioned the communication. The point of the communication is when the new dispensation came in 2022, and everybody was abusing the old AFF and said, things need to change. The government wanted certain things, the fans wanted certain things, the courts wanted certain things. I think people need to be honest enough, and I said it at the time. Given the difficulties of running football in India, is the fact that it's not easy to run football in India. And given under the circumstances, certain structures were created by the people in the AFF. And I especially mentioned Kushal Das and Sunanda Dhor with their respective teams. And it was running up to COVID. Then COVID hit, and especially youth football suffered the most. You kept the ISL and the I-League running in a bubble. I think that is something which should be, FSDL and the AFF needs to be complemented. I was part of the bubble towards the end of the second I-League season. So I know what efforts were made to ensure things. It didn't work always. Again, players and coaches are human beings. And we've seen that in the last 16 months, the little progress that we've made, all of that has been taken back. That is the concern, right? And that is something which needs to be understood where I say governance and leadership, but with the right knowledge, understanding, insights, and the will to implement. That's the only way that you can take it forward.
Sir, I want to know from you regarding this IFA versus AFF situation, regarding this 90 days window for CFL. बिकॉज लास्ट ये सीजन जो चल रहा है इसमें कहीं ना कहीं हम बोल रहे कि कैलेंडर का मेस्ड अप हुआ, उसमें वन ऑफ द रीजन वाज सीएफएल. ड्यू टू दिस सीएफएल दुरान कप वाज पुश्ड आउट and then whole year you can see कि later the competition has been pushed out and all of that mess has been created. So what do you say कि any, no doubt CFL has a history and everything else, but at this आई थिंक कभी ना कभी तो आपको डिसीजन लेना ही पड़ता कि जहाँ पे आपको स्टेट लीग को या फिर आईएफए को बताना पड़ता कि आप स्टेट लीग अपनी साथ में ही करवाए विद रिजर्व टीम. ये यू कांट से कि आपके लिए स्पेशली एक 90 डेज का विंडो यहाँ पे देखा जाए. तो व्हाट अबाउट द अदर स्टेट?
I think the problem is, especially with the IFA, is to understand that the CFL is a small tournament compared to the ISL, even the I-League, right? Because it is a local league, which should be the feeder into the national system, which now starts in the third division, second division, I-League 3, I-League 2, I-League and ISL. Now you have created a model in the last few years that East Bengal and Mohun Bagan understood that they have to play their reserve sides in the competition. Mohammedan, to some extent, was not some extent, they were playing their I-League team minus the foreigners, right?
Check.
And so therefore, this local league versus national league, which has been a problem over the last 20-30 years, since 1996, since the NFL started, that this cannot be taken anymore. So therefore, it seems to be the situation as it stands, and you have to be strong as a national federation. You can't be seen as weak.
Yeah.
I think the final decision has been made. Joint winner.
If that is the decision, I think that's the best thing that they can do.
Final license has been prevailed.
That's the only way. That's the only solution to this. I know that people will be shouting.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys were the Indian team, how would you sort of take it?
if I was the Indian team, I would take it. I would take it with dignity.
Okay.
Don't bullshit now and say, listen, we've been robbed, this and that and everything. No, you've not been. If someone has made a mistake, you want a coin cost. Sorry. Right? And if that coin cost was wrong, then the coin cost was wrong.
Yeah.
And this is, as I say, we
I
are
don't think so.
La La Land.
I don't think so. Indian team will join this ceremony.
If they
It looks
don't,
to me. It looks like it
But
because they're nowhere seen. You can see Bangladesh on the corner of the left screen in the middle. The Indian team on the other side cannot be seen. So I don't know if they're trying to convince them. So let's see what happens. But
see, in situations such as this, I just feel that we really need to teach our kids about sportsmanship. It's so important.
what to say? I mean, again, it's the best decision that you can make in this kind of a situation.
And somebody should. Anwar, don't you think somebody should have that kind of an authority that jana hai to jana hai. If your coach is asking you jana hai to jana to hai. You can't question your coach, or you can't question people who are there. If there is, I mean,
it's a point is like there have been players who've questioned our national coach and he's not called the players up for a while. No? So that's the problem. No? Even at senior level, you're not. Right. And this whole CAFA discussion, once and for all, it is not for India to decide, you know what, I'm leaving SAFF and I'm going to CAFA. It will not happen. Forget it. We might be invited. Even West Asia is organizing a women's championship. Who's being invited? Are we invited? No, Nepal is being invited. Pakistan has been invited by the Saudis to friendly tournaments. No one is waiting for us. We are not hot commodities. No one is waiting to take our players. And why is the Bangla captain going to the toin course? Listen, that girl is 18 or 19. Has she read the rules? Ask the senior players. Ask Argentina's World Cup winning squad. Do they know all the rules of football? No, they don't.
If anybody from the AFF is watching us, I mean, if anybody is watching, please remove the tweet, the pinned tweet. It doesn't bode well. It doesn't look well at all.
Champions coming.
Because it's better to get ulta, na?
I think in all of this, you sort of
they don't listen. No, the coaches know even less about rules and regulations. I've worked with coaches; they have no understanding of these things. You should be happy when a coach knows the rules of football. What happens around the game? Most of the coaches ask top coaches. Ask a Pep. Ask a Jurgen Klopp. Ask a Mourinho if you would know this. It's not their job. It's the job of the manager or the team director of the national team department head. That's the thing. So therefore, yeah.
Stage is set. The final ceremony of the biggest event in the world football, SAFF U19 Women's Championship, will now begin. And we have a joint winner, Bangladesh and India.
Forget Doha and the World Cup final. This is the
this is the real championship. Whatever जो next 10th को है वो तो सिर्फ small level tournament है. This is the real football.
Again, people are mentioning the age. That's the thing. Young minds need to be nurtured in a better way so that they become better athletes when they are adults. So we have to.
I ask a different question. If this happened to our men's team, and Sunil says, you know what, I'll go onto the field, and Ego's team will say, nobody's going onto the field. Do you think Sunil Chhetri is going onto the field?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
that's my point, sir. It is the responsibility of the coach and the team manager to get you can say कि give them the right instruction कि you should now going into the field.
Yeah, what can the players
That's
do?
their
Can't
job. It's their job.
And yeah, the players are at the end like they're kids, like they're under 19 players, and
It doesn't even matter. It's kids. I'm
yeah,
saying
Matter,
39-year-old
exactly. It doesn't
Sunil
matter. It doesn't
Chhetri will
matter.
not take that call, right?
Yeah, Kerala Blasters didn't come out. I mean, they were senior players. Yeah,
Kerala Blasters players wanted to play. The coach said, no, you're not
yeah,
going on. A good example, very good example.
exactly.
Players, senior players, I can't name them,
Yeah.
but I have heard directly from the horse's mouth that they said we wanted to play. Our coach said, no, they did not return. Even the club management went to him. The ISL begged him, go back to the field. Coach said, no, the team did not return.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you guys feel for the players in these situations? I mean, it's just that it's a for them it's a big moment in their lives. I mean, in their careers, of course, some of them might not go on to have successful senior careers. So probably a youth level like the SAFF is big for them. I mean, it is subjective to each
This is
player,
their
but
only trophy.
for some of them, I'm sure it is a big deal, right? Like for example, the Under 19 Cricket World Cup is on right now, and for some of these players are never going to play internationally for their country potentially. So this is a huge deal.
Forget some of these girls will most probably never be professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So for some of them, this is the biggest highlight of their career.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
this
seems fair. I don't know. From a neutral perspective, if I try to see this seems fair. So I don't think they should be having a problem. Both the teams are winners.
No, I would be sad if, like, as a player, if I would have wanted to play and like the coach is saying no, and then I don't have, like, of course, as a player you don't have a choice. Then if that was the case, then I think it would be released.
But then now I'm not sure if that opportunity was presented to the players, because if they have declared both the teams as winners, I don't know if that opportunity was presented also then.
Yeah, possibly that is where we'll never know. I think
Maybe Indian team has left the stadium
I go to another example. When the bomb blast happened on the Borussia Dortmund team bus before their game against AS Monaco, and the team had to play the next day, it was decided by the club CEO, Thomas Tuchel, and the players were not consulted in that decision. So let's forget underage and all that kind of stuff. It happens anywhere and everywhere that the top guys have to take that decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Who is the top guy right
now? The person who is asking.
With the furious version of him.
No, now it has to be the gentle version of furious.
Gentle, हाँ. अब तो सब चंगा सी है सर, सब चंगा सी है. एंजॉय करो आप. फालतू में लोड ले रहे हो. सब कुछ सही चल रहा है.
No, it's a weird kind of a situation. I think nobody wanted to be in this situation. They're now in it, and you can't get out of it. No, that's the whole problem of the situation, right? And again, what is going to happen? What's not going to happen? It's a very difficult decision for the whoever is the decision making official to make. And to me is as I've said from the start, if you mess it up, especially at this level, you're still talking about the transitional period from being junior players to becoming senior players. Okay, some of these girls are played IWL and have played, been called to camps for the senior team, but it should not be sort of a blotch on their career which sort of disturbs the development. And so therefore, to me, it seems to be the officials are coming on, but I don't know if a team official from the Indian side is there. Qazi Salahuddin is there, certainly, the president of SAFF, or the camera
He's also from Bangladesh, huh?
Yeah. So the whole thing is it's a weird situation. Yeah, let's watch this in the background. Again, we'll see what happens here, what pans out there. Again, and this is again a very South Asian version of how to hand over trophies, get as many people as possible on the dais, as we've seen in the Super Cup final a few weeks ago. Again, let's go back to the general discussion on Indian football. Again, this also shows that sadly no one from the AFF leadership seems to be in Dhaka. If someone from the AFF leadership was in Dhaka, you could have at least had a conversation. So to me, that's that. I think that when you look at Indian football and look at the problems that, again, it seems to be only a lot of people are saying the national team is a problem. I think the whole structure is a problem. I think that should be our discussion in the sense of how do we rectify the problems at grassroots, at youth level, and also at senior level. We have to honestly talk to ourselves and listen, we've had the ISL is now 10 years in the making. And again, the ISL is still, as a 10-year-old league, it's still a young league. But to me, the ISL has developed certain things. Certainly, the stadiums are better, the infrastructure, training facilities are better. Your nutrition part, your food part, your travel part, even again fan experience, and all those things are much better. But on the other side, to me, the biggest problem is that on the field we are not better.
Regarding
that is my biggest idea.
Arno and Hiren, I have a question for you. There are private players also who are working towards development of football. There are private academies who are producing some players. I recently, if I'm not wrong, I also recently read about IoT producing some athletes that are doing really well. So how officially are we including them in the process of player selection and player development in the official AIFF capacity? And what can be done better if we are not doing it in the right
way? To me, I think the main thing is I would ask the academies who are producing players, what is the level of players you're producing? And not only the new ones, the ones who've been around. The weird one is, to me, is that the Tata Football Academy 10, 15 years ago used to produce better talent, or even 25 years ago. And Randy Singh, to me, technically is better than most players that we have in the team. Miles from Tulunga was a beast of a player in his time. So that is my biggest problem in all of these discussions and conversations is, if you're producing players, what kind of a level of player are you producing? The real problem is that when we are producing players, we're producing players of an Indian standard. We're not even producing players of an Asian standard at the moment. We saw at the Asian Cup that the level is X times higher than ours. And under 16, under 17, let's break that myth. Why are we successful? Because we're playing with players who are 4 or 5 years older.
I think one of the question is also that's कि चाहे काफी सारे ऐसे जो मतलब प्राइवेट प्लेयर एकेडमीज है जो कि कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं, बट द थिंग इज वेयर इज द कॉम्पिटिटिव एनवायरनमेंट. आप सिर्फ आपके प्लेयरों को सिखा के भी आप वो नहीं कर सकते ना. यू नीड दैट कॉम्पिटिटिव एनवायरनमेंट. वो नहीं बोलते कि
ऑफ कोर्स दे चार्ज अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, थोड़ा सा वो अपना CSR भी करते हैं, बट दे आल्सो टेक प्लेयर्स टू अदर अकेडमीज. बाकी कंट्रीज में भी दे डू टेक द प्लेयर्स. हां, इन सम वेज तो थोड़ा
कितने टाइम के लिए.
No, but Akshata, I think we have to be very, very clear that these pay-to-play models, and I work with one myself. There, it is very, very clear that you say it's a pay-to-play model. If we are able to create talent, great. But if you are paying to go abroad to try to become a professional footballer, that is not how football works. You should be good enough so someone picks you.
This is a good. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, Indian captain and I think 2 players from India side is on the trophies.
That's nice.
Good.
So it's a joint winner between India and Bangladesh, and this is a good thing to see. I think in this scenario, whole scenario, I think at the end of the day, to be honest, I would say it ended well.
I think whoever decided this or made this possible, wise decision. In this kind of scenario, that's the best possible thing that you could have done. Period.
So officially it's over now.
Acha, but player of the tournament, highest goal scorer, best goalkeeper, all those trophies are still lying
उसकी
there.
अभी इतना सारा ये सब करने के बाद उसकी क्या जरूरत है?
When you're doing it, you should do both. Okay, at least Bangladesh is celebrating their success.
नहीं उनका फोटो बाकी था ना, हमने तो पहले सेलिब्रेट करके ले लिया था.
But we didn't celebrate with the backdrop, na.
Backdrop, हाँ, वो बोल.
And this is an interesting thing. If you just look at the backdrop, if you look at the backdrop, how many sponsors in Bangladesh are supporting football? It was interesting. Yes, also, last summer in the SAFF tournament, when it was at the end, it was called Bangabandhu SAFF Cup, right? So, this is an interesting thing, which is I find very disturbing. That there are more corporates in Bangladesh willing to support football, despite cricket being as big as cricket in Bangladesh is. It's a similar scenario like in India, but corporates are willing. You know, Basundhara Group is spending millions to really build something. So that's the most important thing, right? That these things are happening in a way that we have to question the whole Indian football ecosystem.
बट व्हाट इज द रीजन सर? मैं आज ही एएफएफ का वेबसाइट देख रहा था और जब अक्षता ने कपल ऑफ डेज पहले वो बात बोली थी कि नीचे वो नहीं दिखाते स्पॉन्सर, तो उसमें मैं देख रहा था दो ही स्पॉन्सर थे, निविया एंड परफॉर्मेक्स, एंड एफएसटीएल ऑब्वियसली वाज देयर. सो
yeah, but what is the reason why both of them are not? They're not sponsors, right? They are sort of technical partners,
supplier. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन यही है कि why there is no one interested to put a you can say कि sponsorship.
I think that everyone needs to ask themselves the question, right? Starting with AFF, continuing with FSTL, and continuing with the clubs at all levels. You know, I know that Hiren, you and other content creators were trying to support a club in Kolkata with the things. They also had huge sponsorship once in a while, but didn't handle the money properly. Right? These are the honest things that we need to talk about. At the moment, you know, there are people who are fighting these so-called surrogates of the betting. Oh, the stream is finally over, so now we can end that Sportsworks stream. I think that's the longest stream that these guys most probably have done for one football match. So jokes apart. But the point is that there is, that we need to rejuvenate Indian football, right? So that's the scenario.
बट बिकॉज सर ऐसा तो नहीं, काफी सारे लोग बोलते कि कोई लोग देखने वाले नहीं है तो क्यों यहाँ पे प्राइवेट कंपनी डालेगा. बट आई थिंक देयर इज इनफ ऑडियंस की, मतलब चाहे बड़े कॉर्पोरेट्स के लिए या फिर बड़ी कंपनीज के लिए वो नहीं हो, बट स्पॉन्सर तो आपको एटलीस्ट मिल ही सकते हैं. ऐसा बिल्कुल सिचुएशन नहीं है कि आपको मतलब स्पॉन्सर मिले ही.
Do you really believe that?
मेरे को लगता है कि ये हो सकता है.
I am asking you this question on a serious note. I'm asking you this question. Do you think that there are enough eyeballs for corporates to come forward? Because television clearly says Indian football ka value zero. Zero. Says whatever crores I'm spending, value of sponsorship not there.
Plus, we also.
I am sir talking about. नहीं, I am sir talking about the not big corporates, but अब देखिए कितने स्टार्टअप आ रहे हैं या फिर बाकी जो कोई भी छोटा है, अब स्मॉल अमाउंट के लिए स्पॉन्सर तो आई थिंक मेरे हिसाब से उस सेंस में अगर आई थिंक मिल सकता है. इफ यू आर गो फॉर ओनली द बिग कॉर्पोरेट्स देन आई थिंक इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट कि जो आप नंबर्स आप अगर एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो. बट ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बिल्कुल आप कोई स्पॉन्सर ही ना मिले.
From a startup perspective, we also have to think that अगर वो अपना CSR fund लगा रहे हैं, that's a different thing. But as a sponsor or as a brand partner, what are they getting from that deal? What are we able to provide them? अगर आप टीवी में व्यूवरशिप नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, कहाँ पे आपका ब्रांड प्रेजेंस दिखेगा? अगर आपके पास एक्टिवेशंस करनी है और आपके पास एथलीट्स का उतना रीच नहीं है, तो आप कोई एक्टिवेशंस प्लान नहीं कर सकते. तो फ्रॉम अ ब्रांड्स पर्सपेक्टिव ऑल्सो वी हैव टू गिव देम ना कि ये व्यूवरशिप है, इतना आपको आईबॉल्स मिलेगा, इतनी देर के लिए मिलेगा, उसमें कन्वर्जन कितना होगा. इट्स नॉट जस्ट कि वो किस क्वालिटी का ऑडियंस आएगा. क्रिकेट देखने वाले इंडिया में कितने लोग हैं जो काफी अमाउंट ऑफ मनी स्पेंड करके क्रिकेट मैचेस देखने जाते हैं. क्या वो सेम लेवल ऑफ पीपल, इनकम बैकग्राउंड के पीपल, डू दे वॉच इंडियन फुटबॉल? A lot of things we have to consider, like, right, and this was something that even I strongly believed in कि कोई ना कोई तो मिलना चाहिए, क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है. I've had some conversations with Arnav about this.
बट मेरा क्वेश्चन ये कि नो डाउट अबाउट जो आपने बोला वो सही बात है, बट द क्वेश्चन इज कि चलो आपको फिर आप मान लीजिए कि एएफएफ की सॉरी आईएसएल की या फिर जिनकी भी एक्सपेक्टेशन होगी एएफएफ एंड एफएफडीएल की कि भाई हमको स्पॉन्सरशिप से 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़ ऐसा डील मिलना चाहिए, तो लेस अमाउंट में भी कोई ना कोई, मतलब अगर आप देखिए जितनी भी ऑडियंस है, चाहे 1 लाख लोग ही आईएसएल क्यों ना देख रहे हो, तो वो अगर उस ऑडियंस को टारगेट करना चाहते हैं तो चाहे भले ही वो 1 लाख दे, आपको एक वो तो मिल सकता है ना. तो व्हाई दे आर नॉट ready to come on board any sponsor? That is my question.
So for that,
चाहे आप जैसे आपने इंडिगो की डील की है, उससे तो बेटर ही होगी ना.
So for that also you need a plan, na? Like the sponsors will not come to you कि आओ जी, you'll have to present, you'll have to sit down with the team, make a proper package.
That's my point. हाँ, that's my point कि इन लोगों की ओर से वो क्या एफर्ट है कि वो ऑन बोर्ड नहीं ला पा रहे कोई एक भी स्पॉन्सर.
I don't know if that is being done. Of course,
they've tried. No one is coming forward. You have had, if you look at the ISL's history, AFF history, for example, Hero is the only one who's stuck around for 9 years. You know, that Indigo deal is being taken apart. The Indigo deal, to some extent, you know, the understanding is what was the idea of that Indigo deal? You are buying a ticket amount for X. You're saying you're going to give me an Y rebate. And you're going to give me some goodies on top of it. You know, maybe front seat, ye wala, wo wala, and all these kind of things that Indigo can give you. Right? So from that perspective, it was a good deal. But other people have other interests, and then you've killed the deal. Now, you know, you've had that letter from the legal guy. Is it true? Is it not? Nobody knows. There are allegations. Right?
But sir, इन लोगों ने फिर तो ये अभी जो नोटिस निकाल के वो क्यों कैंसिल कर दिए सारे टेंडर?
Who is the AFF, Hiren? Who is the AFF at the moment? Is the AFF really
I am asking,
that way functional?
I am asking you that question. Who is the top guy in AFF?
From a sponsorship perspective, now there's one thing that I want to mention because we were discussing the Indigo deal. When you're bringing in a sponsor, you also have to think that I mean, Aruna, please correct me if I'm wrong, कि आपके अगर matches within India हो रहे हैं, आप Indigo Airlines use कर सकते हैं, right? If you're traveling to other countries for your matches, which will happen, right? Is that same airline available to that destination or not? Are you just allowing yourself to promote that particular airline? Because soon after the Indigo airline thing happened, हम कतार जा रहे थे जब, तब उस time पे we promoted another airline. Which technically, when you already have an airline partner on board, you should not be doing this. There were posts put from Indian football official Instagram handle. So what? There ऐसा नहीं है कि आप किसी भी brand को, you know, there has to be more thought put into this process, which I feel is lacking. And as I said, I don't know if please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're spot on. The problem is again, what is my added value? Right, and the point is, if you are doing a sponsorship in some sort of formal way, how are you trying to create an extra value for the sponsor? Eyeballs is nice, but eyeballs, what is the eyeballs if I'm not able to raise the sales, whatever the company is selling for them? You know?
Yeah.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये कि इफ यू सी इन इंडिया एट द लोकल लेवल, हमारे यहाँ पे जनरली मैं देखता हूँ कि क्रिकेट की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बाकी भी कोई ऐसा छोटा टूर्नामेंट किसी भी स्पोर्ट का या फिर ऐसा कोई कम्युनिटी लेवल पे या फिर उस लेवल पे भी होता है, तो इधर के जो लोकल स्पॉन्सर है, आपको कोई सिटी का ऐसा कोई बड़ा शॉप हो गया और वो स्पॉन्सर मिल जाते हैं। तो इन इन लोगों को मतलब फॉर इंडियन फुटबॉल जो कि सेकंड या थर्ड प्लेस पे देखा जाना, प्रो कबड्डी का भी सेम क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाई प्रो कबड्डी इज आल्सो नॉट गेटिंग अ स्पॉन्सर। Both the
Because
leagues
the
are after
numbers
the
don't
ISL.
add up. The star numbers that they're out there, I don't think the numbers are real. The numbers are not that high. That is the reality. Right? The problem is if that in India cricket is so big and perceived to be so big that it makes sense for you to say, you know what, I will be number 100 sponsor of cricket. And on the other side, rather being number one sponsor of something else.
Deep Mersing has a very interesting question, sir. Can AFF hire McKinsey and
Boston Consulting Group? No. I would not get them because what expertise do they have to grow Indian football? You know? TCS and Infosys have had deals with Man United, with Chelsea, with some other clubs, with Ferrari in Formula One. For them, again, there needs to be something. Look, Tata for me is a prime example. Tata finally has a team in the ISL. But are they really spending big? You know? That's the reality. Brutal reality.
I mean, what can these sort of teams, or not even teams, I mean, what can we do from a marketing perspective for these guys? I mean, to help grow Indian football? I know, of course, the numbers are not there, but you guys think there are some interesting activations that can be done with certain players that will really help grow Indian football? Probably tied up with cricket. I know it sounds as sad as it sounds. Do you guys think that can sort of help Indian football grow a little more? I mean,
देखो राहुल, ISL जब स्टार्ट किया तब हर किसी एक क्लब के साथ अपने क्रिकेटर को जोड़ा था. Eventually that also fade out. Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, Abhishek Bachchan. You tried both Bollywood and cricket, जो सबसे ज्यादा इंडिया में बिकता है. उन दोनों को आपने ट्राई कर लिया, but still you didn't able to catch the eyeballs.
Yeah, and
so,
for I mean,
that
for
marketing trick has been used.
Even BFC comes to mind because BFC has they have signed multiple brand partners this season. There were certain activations with Dove. There were activations with Jar app, where they did use Sunil also in some of the activations. And but I don't know how much was the conversion for them. Even from considering the people who are turning up to the stadium, JSW in itself also has made sure that वो अपने जो एथलीट रोस्टर में लोग हैं उनके साथ भी क्रॉस प्रमोशंस करें. नीरज चोपड़ा was also there. Even for that matter, Rohan Bopanna is not a JSW athlete, but he was also present in the last game. So it's not that BFC are not trying these things, but sadly, from the turnout that I saw yesterday, I didn't feel like it's really helping them.
So, 4,000 was the turnout.
And again, we also have to understand that when a sponsorship deal is signed, sponsorship deal ka amount is different. Activations ke liye you have to spend a lot more. So sometimes brands think that just having the logo is sufficient, but a lot more needs to be done, right? Logo is just one thing.
Yeah. Do you guys think it comes down to quality in the end? I mean, eventually it trickles down.
नहीं राहुल, नहीं क्वालिटी आपकी एक पॉइंट से आप सही है, but if you see Nepal and Bangladesh, they didn't get any success at international level, or they have that you can say more famous league. But still, people, if you see in this, if this final was happening in India, do you expect that much crowd in this stand? I don't think so. I really don't think so. That will be the turnaround in this stand. So आप देखिए कि जो सबसे बड़ा मेरे को लगता है कि प्रॉब्लम है कि इसमें क्वालिटी और वो सारी चीज तो है, लेकिन आई थिंक जब तक वो लोगों का जैसे अनकंडीशनल वो सपोर्ट नहीं आएगा तब तक वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. उसके लिए आई थिंक इंडियन फुटबॉल की ओर से ऐसा कुछ होना तो जरूर पड़ेगा, जो आप बोल रहे हो कि क्वालिटी हो, या फिर कोई ऐसा प्लेयर आना पड़ेगा, या फिर नेशनल टीम को कुछ ऐसा परफॉर्मेंस, में साफ बाप की नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ, बट एशियन कप या फिर वर्ल्ड कप के मैच हिसाब से कुछ ऐसा अचीव करना पड़ेगा कि तब जाके, या तो फिर क्लब को, जो हमने कल जैसे बात की थी सर ने परफेक्टली, कि भाई क्लब को किस तरह से फैन के साथ जुड़ना है, वो अगर पॉसिबल हुआ देन आपका सर्वाइवल होगा लीग का एंड फुटबॉल का। अदरवाइज आपकी नेशनल टीम को करना पड़ेगा। ये दो ही रास्ते हैं कि जहां से आपका वो दरवाजा खुल सकता है, जो देन डेफिनेटली कंपनीज विल कम अप विद द लोअर व्यूअरशिप आल्सो। फिर आपकी व्यूअरशिप उतनी ज्यादा भी नहीं होगी, लेकिन देयर विल बी कंपनी जो इंटरेस्टेड होगी मेरे हिसाब से। तो मेरे को लगता है कि या तो क्लब साइड से वो रास्ता खुलेगा या तो नेशनल टीम की ओर से, बट somewhere it has to be happen because that trust has been lost. I think जैसे सर ने बोला कि इन लोगों ने ट्राई किया, बट why no one is convincing? Because there is a at least 1% भी ऑडियंस होगा तो उसको भी कोई यहाँ पे टारगेट करने वाला कोई ब्रांड या ऐसे कंपनी होगा, बट they are also still not believing. So I think that belief has to be only achieved after this either of two things happening.
I know it's a very generic question. I look around me and usually I've seen in, I don't know how much Indian football culture has grown over the years. You've been there for so long and I'm sure you know, but at least around me, I'm seeing it not really pick up pace. Of course, that's probably down to the performances of the national team, ISL clubs, etc., etc. But why do you think people are not drawn to Indian football? What's the reason behind it?
I think our biggest problem is that there's a fake belief that there is a fake football culture in India. You know, I think if there was the real culture, and I especially say this as being a Bengali, you know, East Bengal, Mohun Bagan and Mohammedan have a potential fan base for which, you know, the biggest clubs in the world would kill for. But it is mainly around the derby. Right? It is not for the whole season. These things need to change. Look at, I think BFC is a good example. You yourself are a BFC fan. You know, 4,300 something was, I think, the attendance yesterday.
Yeah.
If it's going well, you're there. You know, even Mumbai City, you know, 2,000 something. Where people are raising questions, where we're discussing yesterday that you know, the club needs to do more in regard to you know, that the club needs to do this, the club needs, and my question is, does one, if I'm spending, I don't know, a few lakhs on the promotions and I'm getting 1% more, is that value for money from the side of the club, where I have to think about the money part? And I think social media gives us a wrong picture of what's happening. Because at the day, again, we've been doing this now for, you know, before the start of the ISL, so it's 3-4 months already, where we're talking daily. We are with SportsKhabri, we've been doing this now, you know, for 9-10 months. And as great, and I'm thankful for all of you who are listening and who are joining in every evening to this, you know, listen to us, to discuss with us. But the community has not grown exponentially over the last few months, right? It has literally stayed at the level it is. So as long as it doesn't grow, that is a problem. And a lot of people see sports as part of entertainment. Bollywood, the success of Bollywood is because it's entertainment. Cricket, IPL is entertainment. Shumal, you're talking about Cape football in Bengal. That is in outside of Kolkata and rural Bengal, Cape football is entertainment, right? So that is the problem. A city like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, these places have too many options of entertainment, different things that you can do. But football needs to, and the problem in India is, in India, people want to support success. People don't want to be part of a process to get to being successful. You know, see the explosion of the East Bengal fans after winning the Super Cup, right? This has been building in them. The only exception to me,
Kerala Blasters.
You know, Sherin is just saying is Kerala Blasters, in the way that they've been able to create that connect. And that connect is rather gone strong. The other clubs, it's become, FC Goa is a good example. I think the FC Goa connect in the first few years was stronger than it is now, even though this year they could potentially become champions.
It's
And
it's
that,
I yeah
yeah,
yeah
sorry,
yeah. No,
Rahul.
no, I was just saying. I think the problem is like when you're growing up, it's I feel like it's a very Indian thing to sort of say, oh, okay, finish everything else, and then there's like half an hour to go. You go and play football, or go and watch football, or go and watch cricket. We don't say like, so I mean, at least growing up now in my house, for us, how it is you know what, regardless of whatever is happening at the weekend, if my team is playing those 2 hours, we are not going out anywhere, we are not doing anything else, we are watching those. For those 2 hours, we're watching the game. And I think that is missing in a lot of Indian households, especially middle class homes, at least from where I come. That the narrative is that, you know what, सब कुछ खत्म कर लो, अगर थोड़ा time है in the end, then you go and you
हाँ
watch football, or
हाँ
then you go and play cricket, and then you do this with your respective sport. Um, and it's even worse in football, because at least now, if you're sort of taking up cricket, you know that you play the IPL, you'll get paid decently. You have state leagues, you play the KPL, you'll get paid decently. But in football, because it's already, I mean, you have to play the ISL, right? I mean, and I don't think a lot of parents are aware, and they also know what the scene is like. So there's a lot of I don't know the word. I mean, there's an apprehension towards allowing kids to go out and just sort of take up sport really seriously and play, watch your teams, and that culture part is missing. I think at least I hope that it changes and that we become more liberal even as parents. I'm just talking to generally. I mean, people from 30 to 40 who are going to have kids, or 20 to 30 who are going to have kids in this next generation, to just allow your kids to enjoy sport as much as possible, because it's probably the best thing, right? I mean, only a sports fan can really feel
So
it.
so you're talking to Hiren now.
I'm telling Hiren, but Hiren will do it. It doesn't matter. Like, Hiren's
The,
going to do it.
I kind of agree with Rahul ki that the generation of us is when they become a parents. I think the change will certainly. I would not say ki there is a big change, but I think most probably there will be a change. I'm expecting that because the the, the current generation I think is more, you can say ki, aware about those things. So I think I kind of agree, and I think the point he mentioned about this household is also kind of here also. I think I have seen the same issue. It's not just you play with all of that. Your homework is finished and everything is finished, and then there is that window to play the sport. So kind of agree with you.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully that changes that. Uh, yeah, guys.
It's a society. You can say ki it's a change in the society.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
just change it for a one sport.
Hmm.
And even schools, like as much as it is,
Maybe in Kolkata and maybe in Kolkata and Kerala the story would be different because there is a uh, past history. But I think the
No,
other states,
Hiren, there is one problem, and again, I can't fully say it about Kerala, but I can say it about Kolkata. That in Kolkata, a lot of players used to come from the middle class, and a lot of players in Bengal are now coming from the suburbs of Kolkata. They're coming from the districts. So it's very difficult to say that at the moment, right? So therefore, there are things that have happened. They are problematic, I would say, but and the culture was there to some extent. And hopefully it will come back at some stage. I think that's the thing. And the next, as Rahul and you've correctly said, the younger generation, uh, um, you know, that it needs to come around and change, because otherwise Indian football will not grow. But again, when we come back about the solutions, I think at the end of the day, it needs to start with the federation at the top. It continues with the state associations, continues with the clubs, academies, grassroots centers, and the reality is, there is a the structure needs to be there. And if parents say there is no money in the game, that is the biggest joke in itself. Where will you earn in lakhs and in crores as a normal person,
mm,
right? So yeah, that's that again. And it's not just the top 10 or top 15 players are earning well. There's quite a big bunch of players who are earning good money in the ISL and the I League these days. Even players, let's say in the Northeast, in Manipur or Mizoram, for the standards that there is over there in standard of living, the footballers are earning good money.
Yeah. Yep. Good team. Good time to sort of wrap up with.
Yes.
Okay,
I think
so
tomorrow, guys, we will do AFC Asian Cup final preview, and ISL match is also tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I think both the thing will be done, but I think AFC Asian Cup final preview would be a good thing to do.
And also most probably SAFF Under-19 Women's Championship final aftermath.
After yes, that is the biggest tournament, so obviously that should be priority.
What are you saying? If the biggest tournament final of the week was played today, not AFC or CAF or whatever. This was the biggest final of the year.
This is the match for the history books. It will be remembered for a long time.
And Anirban, to say that we're not diverting from the main point, AFF is one part of the whole thing. If people do the right things, and I think Mizoram is the perfect example, where Tete had an idea, he got like-minded people on board, and they changed the face of Mizoram football in a short span of time. So if every blame is on the AFF, that is too easy in Indian football. And this is something which we need to understand. And again, we also learned that our head coach was right. SAFF is the biggest tournament. So, the biggest tournament was played last July. This Chota Mota AFC Asian Cup, what's the value, right? So,
तो बीच में सर वो तो आते रहते हैं, उसका क्या है? तो सही ऐसे ही
every 4 years, it's way too long.
Musa is in the chat about how to fix Indian football. Drink old monk, everything feels fixed. Sab changasi. That is exactly the current state.
So Musa Bhai is inviting us all to an old monk, or what? Is he gifting us all an old monk bottle?
Yeah.
Thank you, Musa Bhai. I'll pick it up next time. No, but this is as it stands again. And I think, jokes apart, I think the difficulty is that changes are needed. Big changes are needed, starting with the AFF. But on the other side, again, the state associations need to do their job. The clubs need to do their job. All who are now, pointing fingers, even from the clubs and all. You are producing the talent. Your talent is not good enough. Bus. So, do a better job yourself. If the AFF, that the AFF is unable to create the competitions that you need, there are enough academies around where you can create own competitions to have enough matches for your kids.
अमित शो भाई ओसीआई के रिगार्डिंग ये भाई मैंने एक महीना पहले जब स्ट्रीम किया तब आपको क्या बोला था कि जून जुलाई से पहले आप क्वेश्चन मत पूछिए रिगार्डिंग ओसीआई.
There is no communication. There is no communication on the matter. AFF is not communicated with anyone on that. It's one another gaslighting. So sorry, nothing happening on that front at the moment.
Yep. Fair enough, guys. Okay. Tomorrow we'll be back for the Asian Cup final preview, and we have an ISL game tomorrow, so we'll be reviewing that as well. So yeah, interesting stuff to talk about tomorrow. Odisha Goa battle at the
that's a big game.
Big game.
That's a big game tomorrow, and again, let's hope that we can focus a little bit more on football tomorrow. But I think again we'll be talking most probably on today's final and on the situation in the federation. And yes, let's look forward to that hopefully great final on Saturday in the AFC Asian Cup between Qatar and Jordan. What semi-finals we saw. So therefore, let's focus a little bit on some good quality football.
Absolutely. Yep. Again, guys, everybody, please do like and share these videos. Subscribe to all the channels, SportsKhabri, Curious Harry, and Arun Foot. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everyone.